Today on our 2015 Smart For2, you're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 6-wire Flexo-Coil Wire Kit, part number RM-15267. This is what our diode kit looks like when it's installed. My 6-pole here at the front of my vehicle. What this is going to do, this is going to give me connection point between my RV and my towed vehicle or my smart car while it's being flat towed behind the RV. This is going to allow me to run my lights through my RV. For instance, once my umbilical cord is plugged into here and it's plugged into my RV, when I step on the brakes, it's going to activate the brakes lights or signal in the car or in the smart car while it's being towed. Same thing goes with my running lights and both of my turn signals. This diode kit is going to hook directly into your factory taillight wiring. It'll route from your 6-pole that you mount in the front of the vehicle to the back of the vehicle. It'll split off and go to the driver's side and passenger side wiring. Now, on each side you're going to have 2 diodes per side, and the diodes are going to protect your factory wiring from any backfeed from your RV if there happens to be a short or a problem in the wiring somewhere. It's going to protect your factory wiring in your towed vehicle. This diode kit is going to be one of 5 main components in a flat tow setup. The other 4 are going to be your base plate, your tow bar, your safety cables, and your braking system. Now, our 6-pole plug here is going to have a spring-loaded lid that will stay closed to help keep any moisture or debris off of the pins inside the plug. Now, your diode kit is only going to be 4 wires, so you're going to have 2 extra pegs for any other accessories you may want to add on. For instance, like a battery charge line kit. Now, as far as the installation goes, it is a fairly straightforward, pretty simple installation. You're going to have a 6-pole plug that you're going to mount somewhere in the front of the vehicle. You're going to have about 30 foot of wire you're going to route to the back, whether it be underneath the vehicle or through the interior of the vehicle, which is going to tie into both tail lights with a couple of diodes. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let me show you just how easy it is to put in. This is what you're going to get in your diode kit. You have your Flexo-Coil, your umbilical cord that's going to go from your towed vehicle to your RV. You're going to have your 4-pole wiring, or your wiring that's going to go to your plug on your towed vehicle, your diodes, and your 6-pole plug. You're also going to have a mounting bracket. Now, depending on where you decide to mount this, you may need an extra bracket to get this mounted correctly. First thing I need to do is I need to get one end of this wire from the front of the car to the back of the car to my taillight wiring. Now, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can go underneath the car to the back, feed it up both sides to your taillights. You can route it through the car. There's actually a grommet right here that comes out right underneath the dash. I'm probably going to go that way. I'll just run it through there and then run it underneath the carpeting to the back, and I can split it because my wiring for both taillights are right inside the panel on each side of the vehicle. So I really don't need to be outside the vehicle with my wiring at all. And I think it's going to be easier to go that way. So you can see where I came through the grommet there. It's very easy to get to inside, and it's fairly easy to get to out here. What I need to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I want to coil it up. Myself, this is a small car, so we're going to have quite a bit of wire left over. I'm actually going to coil up about like that. I'll just zip tie it, leave it hang here for now, and then we'll figure out where I'm going to put my plug later. But I'm going to need some extra wire. If I do a brake system, I'm going to have to tie into it. So I want to make sure I have enough that I get easy room to work. Now what I'm going to do with my wire is I'm just going to route it right underneath my edge of my carpet here. I may go under the edge here. I may try to feed it underneath my seat, and then try to come out toward the center behind these 2 seats here. So you can just pull it up like this. Tuck it in there. We can do that all the way to the back. Once I got past the driver's seat, tucking it underneath the carpet, what I did is I just came up, I went around the back side of the seat here, underneath the carpet, and I came right up this side. You can see how I got it ran. So now I'll be able to run my wires right underneath this panel, Then I'll have 2 wires that I'm gonna run across, and I can just lay them right in here, run them up underneath that panel. Next thing we need to do is we need to separate our wires. And I'm actually gonna strip these back pretty far. I decided what I'm gonna do, instead of running my wire here across the other side, I'm actually gonna take it, I'm gonna tuck it right here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the 2 fasteners. I have a tie down loop right here. I'll be using a star bit to remove that. We'll be using a T45, and then over on this side, there could be a plastic fastener, and you just turn it, it kind of unscrews out of there. So I'm gonna remove this loop here. It's gonna make it a little bit easier to get up in there. So you can see I've got my wire, my green and my brown wire tucked over here. I'm gonna go ahead, reinstall my tie down here. That way it keeps my wires tucked in there. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my panels from my driver and passenger side. You can see it has 2 releases. One here, one up here. It's for the driver's side. At this point, I'm just gonna take my yellow wire, go right underneath the panel here. Just pull it up just like that. Leave our white wire there. Come over to our passenger side. And my green and my brown wire, I'm gonna feed it behind the panel. Now you can see all my wires hidden. Got my green and my brown wire coming up through my panel here. Now the next thing you need to do is you need to test to determine which wires are for your signals. We've determined that our gray and green and our black and green are going to be our signals. Now this is going to be a combined system, so our turn signal and our stoplight is going to be for the black and green, and then our tail lights are going to be for the gray and green. So those are the 2 wires that I'm going to be adding my diodes onto. In order to do this a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug out of the light socket like this. And all you're going to do is on each side, you're just going to pinch and pull it out. So the first one we're going to do is going to be our tail light, which is going to be our brown wire coming off of our wiring that we ran back here. It's going to be our gray and green. Cut that wire like that. And we're going to strip back. I would suggest stripping back just a little extra. These wires are a little thin. We're going to take this one. It's got the one yellow connector on it. We're going to connect one of our ends here to one side of our wire. We're going to add the other one to the other side of the wire. This will go like this. And then for this one, we're going to add on our brown wire. So I'm actually going to strip back one end here, and then the other part that I just cut off, I'm actually going to strip off a little bit from there. This, we're going to put them together. We're going to put both of them inside of the yellow. Crimp it down. Make sure you got a good hold. And then that's going to be there. So what I did there is I made myself a jumper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brown wire now, I'm going to route it under and across and hook it right into that side. Now I'm going to do my turn signal and stop lamp. Since they're combined, we're going to be using the green wire. We're going to repeat the same process here. And then for something like this. And then for this one, we'll do our green wire. Again, give yourself plenty. The only thing with this one is we're not going to be combining it with anything. It's going to go directly into our butt connector, spade connector here, and then plug directly into the diode. Now we can plug our tail light back in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually stick these together like this. We're going to be inside the vehicle. I'm going to try to stick them back in here. It's got double-sided tape on it. We'll peel this back. We'll just stick one on top of the other. I got a big pocket right in here. It's open. So it's just a matter of getting my wires moved around enough where I can stick it in there. And peel this off. feed that down there. You can see I just stuck it right to this inside of this pocket here, right against the wall. What I want to do is I want to route this over here so I can connect it to my wire. So I can either run it across here or I can run it around. That's depending on whatever you want to do. I'm going to try to, without taking this out again, try and get it around that so I can get it over here. If I have too much trouble, I can always just run it across here. So completely up to you. And then you can see I routed my brown wire up behind my panel with my yellow wire. My white wire is going to be my ground. And what's nice about it is I actually have a bolt right here that is connecting all my ground wires to the body. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to add my ring terminal, take the nut off, put it on there, and add my nut back on. So I'm going to give myself a little bit extra so I can actually tuck my ground wire up behind the panel here. I'm going to cut it about here, strip it back. I'm going to add the ring terminal that comes in your kit. Cut that into place. Make sure you got a good hold. I'll take a 10mm socket. Go ahead and remove our nut. Go ahead and add your ring terminal and replace the nut. Just like that. So we've determined through testing on our driver's side, our brown wire with the gray stripe is going to be our tail lights, which our jumper wire that we ran from the passenger side, we're going to tie in with that diode. And then our black wire with the white stripe is going to be our stop light and our turn signal. So we're going to be tying our yellow wire into that one. We're going to connect them just the same way we did on the other side. So what we're going to do for this side is you can see how it has an in and out. The single wire is going, or the single side out is going to the light, and the side with the 2 on it is going to your factory wiring in your vehicle. Our brown wire that we got coming from the other side, instead of tying it to one of them, it's actually going to be going into its own connector. So we'll cut this down and leave yourself a little bit extra so you can move it around. Down. We're going to add that just like that. So now we'll do the same thing with our black and white wire and our turn signals. Once you get all your wires tucked in, nice and neat, you can go ahead and replace your panels. Replace your panels. Now we can move to the front of the vehicle. So how I'm going to do my wiring is this comes in your kit. This is to hold your 6-pole plug. If I mount it here, it's going to sit right behind the license plate. So I took a short bracket, part number 18144, and I bent it. You can kind of see how I bent it there. I'm actually going to mount it. I'm going to mount it like that, and this is going to sit down on the bottom like this. It'll be just in line with my base plate here. So I tried a self-typing screw here and it wouldn't work. What I did, I just widened the hole a little bit and I'm putting a nut and bolt through it because the whole inside of this bumper core right here is all hollow, so I can reach back there and get a wrench on it. It doesn't matter what size you use, just make sure it's big enough it's going to hold it, and you're going to want to drill out to whatever size you have. I'm going to use an 11mm socket for the one that I have and wrench to tighten it into place. My 6-pole bracket. Now I'm just test fitting it right now. I'm going to have to pull it back off when I go to put my fascia back on. So you can see how my bracket comes through my fascia. I just cut out enough to where I can get this top part of my bracket through, or this the short bracket through. I added my 6-pole bracket that comes in my kit. Now we can mount it 2 different ways. You can mount it like this, or you can spin it around and mount it. We're gonna have to cut out the hole for our 6-pole plug, which is gonna be there. I actually had considered just mounting it like this because the license plate comes right down over this bracket. And then with my plug, will actually be sitting under my license plate like this. As long as I can open my lid, I'm gonna mount it like that. If not, I'll flip this bracket around and mount it the other way. But But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and use this as my template so that I can cut this out. I'm just gonna use, you can use wire cutters. This grill's not that thick, so it cuts pretty easy. You should, once we mount this on here, get the plug in. Now I'm gonna take my 6-pole plug, and no matter how you try to mount it, you can do it like that if you want. I'm actually gonna try it the other way, because I like how it sits flush with the grill. It's gonna come with a couple of screws and nuts to mount it to the bracket here. Next thing I need to do is strip back my wires. We're gonna take the back of our plug, and the back of our plug actually tells us what's what. Right turn, left turn, ground, and TM is gonna be our running lights. Take a small Phillips or flathead screwdriver. You don't need to take these all the way out. They are small and you will lose them. Next, we want to make sure we put our boot on. We're going to do skinny side first over our wires. And just kind of leave it like that. Then we can start connecting all of our wires. Green for right turn, yellow left turn, white ground, and finally brown for our running lights. Take our boot and slide it over the top like that. You get some wire loom in your kit. I'm going to use a little bit on my wires here, just so you can't see them through the grill. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start right here on this boot. I'm actually going to tape it closed. That way it stays on, kind of protects it from any water or anything getting in there. And then we can mount our bracket into place. Your kit is not going to come with these screws. You can use anything that's going to fit through the hole to hold it in place. I'm going to go up like this. You can take a Phillips or flathead screwdriver, a little bit larger one. Get those tighten into place. Now with an alternate power source, we're going to test out our lights. This is going to simulate being hooked up to your RV and flat towing your vehicle. Tail lights, left turn, brake lights, right turn. And that'll do it for a look at an installation on the Roadmaster Diode 7-wire to 6-wire Flexo-Coil Wire Kit, part number RM-15267 on our 2015 Smart for 2.